Alright, much Abrew time. Playing some Splendid Retreats, Splendid Landfall, and Standard. And I guess we keep this. Geez, the mana is awkward in this deck. We've done some cool things and won some games, but boy is the mana awkward. Vessel of Nascency, pass turn. What's our opponent up to? Ether Hub. Gets an energy. Doesn't tell you much since approximately every deck in Standard plays these cards. There's a tune with Ether. I'll play the Swamp, pass the turn. Opponent has a Forest and a Long Tusk Cub. I'll crack Vessel. I guess we just take Grim Flayer. Ugh. Oh, this mana. Well, play Grim Flayer, play a Swamp. Pass the turn. Would have been pretty handy to be able to play Grim Flayer and Vessel. There's definitely a cost to playing a ton of basic lands. And we're kind of getting an example of it here. Opponent has Harness Lightning. Takes down our Grim Flayer. Yep, gets in with Long Tusk Cub. Gets some more energy for the Cub. And Greenbelt Rampager. Oh man, everything about this is so awkward. I mean, I think we have to just play Walking Ballista and kill Long Tusk Cub. But unfortunately, that means next turn we can't play and crack Vessel unless we draw an untapped green source. Oh man, so weird. This mana. There's a tune with Ether. Opponent gets a land. And oh boy. That's a Lathnu Helion, so we're taking a huge beating this turn. Opponent spends some energy, keeps alive the Helion. Yep. Alright. Vessel, retreat. And pass the turn. And yeah, we're pretty dead. Maybe we should have skipped a turn to play a Vessel, I don't know. Bristling Hydra, yeah. I don't think there's a card in our deck that matters here. Opponent gets in. Pays for their Helion. More Planscape. Yup, we will scoop it up. There's nothing we can possibly hit that matters. Huh. Well, I can bring in Planner Outburst, I guess. Maybe. Go down Yahani's Expertise, which isn't guaranteed to kill anything, much of anything. And go down Worldbreaker. And I guess we try it like that. Alright, we get to play first. Alright, we'll try this. We have some of our good cards. We have a dual land, which is going to make our life slightly easier. And we got the Gitrog Moster. What's our opponent have? Tune with Ether. And passes. Well, play a Vessel. Play a Plains. Pass the turn. See what our opponent has. Hopefully next turn we can crack Vessel. Hopefully hit a Swamp, I think. And then Fatal Push something. Then the following turn, we can track or crack, play and crack Evolving Wilds, get some clues. Then Warp Landscape gives us Gitrog Moster the following turn. Alright, there's Voltaic Brawler. More energy. Well, this is a slightly risky line, but I think it's the best line. Swamp, please? Alright, there's a Swamp. Get the Swamp. Play the Swamp. Kill the Brawler. Pass the turn. Alright, so it worked out. We got some really weird lands in hand, but they're necessary for the combo. Game Trail for our opponent. No Pummeler. I don't even know if this deck can be playing Pummeler. There's Greenbelt Rampager. So, no Pummeler. Jeez. All the Rampagers. Planner Outburst could be good. So, Tireless Tracker. Evolving Wilds. Get a clue. Crack Evolving Wilds. Get a Plains. Get a clue. And chip the turn. So now we might just Planner Outburst, especially if our opponent has another creature. We might have to. Alright, Harness Lightning takes down our Tireless Tracker. Opponent gets to get in for 6. Yeah, I think we just Planner Outburst. And then Gitrog Moster the following turn. Alright, now we definitely do, since there's a Long Tusk Cub. So play Blighted Woodland. No Awaken, but we get rid of 3 creatures. Pass the turn, and we have a lot more card advantage left than our opponent. Our awkward mana, having it the Planesware, might come back to bite us next turn. Lathnu Helion for our opponent. Gets in. Down to 1 energy. Well, play Warp Landscape. Play Gitrog Monster. Pass the turn. See what happens. I really don't want to block, but I think we have to, unfortunately. Yep. And there's a pump spell. That thing was going to die anyway, too. And Voltaic Brawler. Waste. Alright, let's Fatal Push Voltaic Brawler. Play Vessel. Play Waste. And pass the turn. Opponent plays a land. Alright, crack a clue, draw a card. Forest. Cracked Warp Landscape. Get a forest. Ooh. Well, I think we gotta play that. Let's see. So, play the forest. Do we crack the clue? Play Gerper Orrery. Empty-handed, so we get the first benefit. Pass the turn. So we get Ancestral Recall next turn. Opponent plays a land. Well, we just trigger our Orrery. That wasn't bad. Play Retreat to Emeria. Play Evolving Wilds. Get an ally. And our opponent scoops it up. Cannot beat the Orrery. Whoo! Are we going to keep winning? Man, I can't believe this deck wins as often as it does with how awkward the mana can be sometimes. But it is definitely semi-competitive. I'll have to think about the upgrades. I wonder if there are any major upgrades that really fix it. It's really sweet, though. Alright. A little slow, but we can Evolving Wilds. We have double Grim Flare. There's the Attune with Ether. Wish this was a swamp. Oh, man. One thing I know when we talk about changes, Waste is coming out. Waste has been the bane of my existence. Almost like Identity Thief. This is the Identity Thief of this deck. Well, crack Evolving Wilds. Get a swamp. Forest. Play Vessel of Nascency. Pass the turn. I think if we just play Grimflayer there, our opponent kills it. Maybe that's fine, but... Alright, Long Tusk Cub for our opponent. Well, let's kill it. Opponent's going to save it. Well, let's crack our Vessel. Get an Evolving Wilds. Play Evolving Wilds. Pass the turn. Now we got to decide about our mana. How much do we focus on Retreat to Emeria? If we get a Forest here, we can just double Grimflayer as 4/4s into Gitrog Monster, and that's a lot of power and toughness on the battlefield. That might be enough to get us a win here. Ooh, Arlen Cord. Interesting. That's not one we see very often. So opponent gets in for 4, gets some more energy. Pumps it, so 5 gets back the energy. Well, crack Evolving Wilds. Get a Forest. I think we gotta go double Grimflayer. Play a Swamp. Grimflayer. Grimflayer. Pass the turn. Pumps up on the Cub. I think we gotta take it. I think we get 2 blown out if we don't. Pumps it. Gets back some energy. We're down to 9. Servant of the Conduit. And opponent passes. Well, play the Waste. Play the Gitrog Monster. And I think we just gotta pass. Opponent has enough energy they could just Harness Lightning Gitrog Monster. Yup. It saps our opponent's energy, but they get rid of it. And that might be the game. We're nowhere near casting a Planar Outburst, even if we draw one. We'd have to, like, sack Bladed Woodland first, and I don't think we got the time for that. Because we're at 9. Alright. Transforms Arlen Cord. Plays a land. No attacks. We'll play Bladed Woodland. Play Walking Ballista. Get in Arlen Cord. Alright, opponent blocks and blocks. I guess that's fine. And pass the turn. Alright, we're going to ping Arlen Cord a bit. Down to 1. Oh, Bristling Hydra for our opponent. That's a good one. Yup. That's going to beat us. Even if we draw white mana, we can't win. Opponent gets more energy. We're at 4. We can't crack Bladed Woodland. Yeah, we're dead. Whew. I guess the only play we have is Walking Ballista X3, but we're dead. I don't think our opponent can find a way to punt through this. All I got to do is take down Arlen Cord. Oh, boy. I guess that also does it.